So your offer just got accepted by the seller. This is exciting. So the next thing we need to do is bring your earnest money to a title and escrow company. This is Anita with Discover Sonoma County Living, and I'm excited for you because you're about to buy a house. So in the state of California, on the purchase contract, it says within 3 days after your offer is accepted, you need to take 3% of the offer price. Let's just say it's a $600,000 house, so that would be $18,000, right? So you take $18,000 to the title company to be held in trust. And this shows the seller that you're serious about your offer, all right? That you really want the house. You've showed them the money, okay? Now, it also launches escrow, which is generally 30 days, okay? So I'm gonna go with the more typical scenario. In the purchase contract, it also says once escrow is open, you have 17 days to do your inspections. So your realtor coordinates the inspections with you, and you go through the inspection process, going over to the house, meeting the inspectors, reading their reports, talking about their findings. And on the pest report, it oftentimes gives you an estimate of what the repairs are going to cost. And so sometimes, and more often, this is the most typical scenario, is you and your realtor negotiate with the sellers for them to say, compensate you for the $3,000 of dry rot that was discovered. So it's submitted to the seller in writing, and let's just say, for the sake of this lesson here, that they accept your request to compensate them for the damages, it's called, okay? And they send it back signed. So you know you're gonna get $3,000 back at closing from the sellers because, oh, I don't know, the eaves have a little bit of dry rot in them, okay? So this takes us oftentimes the full 17 days. If for any reason, inspections or not, say you lost your job, someone died in the family and you had to move out of state, it doesn't matter. During that 17-day period, you can leave and not purchase this house for whatever reason, okay? It doesn't matter. But most often and most commonly, if someone's going to decide not to buy a house, it's because of what was discovered in the inspections, okay? But we have 17 days to do all of this, which is quite a sufficient amount of time. So once we decide and both parties are happy with the outcome of the negotiating and all of that, there's a document called the CR, the Contingency Removal Form. And this is kind of the big moment in the negotiating because the seller accepted your offer, but you kind of accepted them accepting your offer contingent upon you doing inspections. So when the CR is signed by both parties that everybody's happy, it's the big moment. And after the CR is signed, you're pretty much on your way to owning your house. Okay, there's a few more details that need to happen, but we've passed the first hurdle, which is inspections and lifting the CRs, or lifting the contingencies and signing the CR, okay? So that's like the kind of the most important part in escrow, all right? Besides your loan being approved, which hasn't happened yet because your lender has 21 days to do that. That's a whole other video, okay? But we got through the 17-day period, the CR was signed by both parties, and now the contingencies are lifted. If for any reason, after the CR is signed, you lost your job or that really bad scenario happened and you couldn't buy the house, technically the contract says that earnest money can be taken, or it becomes the seller's money automatically. And that's in big fat writing, and your realtor will probably explain that to you at least 5 or 7 times while you're signing the contract, okay? But this is the big moment in the purchase, is getting over and through the inspection period and getting the CR signed along with the loan, which happens a few days later. Okay, there's kind of 2 big moments, but this is the first one, all right? Now, in most scenarios that I've been confronted with, which really I think was only 2, where somebody actually lost their job right after the CR was signed. Like that next week when we're kind of wrapping things up and somebody lost their job. Well, the sellers were kind enough to give them back their earnest money and just move on and put their house back on the market. I would say that's the most common result of all of this. However, at the same time, the earnest money pot of money in the state of California is the most contentious pot of money in the court system. So it's disputed quite a bit. And usually that's when the buyers don't think that they broke the contract. And so there, a lawsuit or arbitration it starts, and there's a decision to make. So, but we're not going to go there because I don't want to scare you. Sure, it's happened, but essentially you finish your 17-day period, the CR is signed, everybody's happy that everybody's happy, the sellers sold their house, they're cheering, and you're buying the house, and you know the condition of the house going in because you just finished your reports, and it's good. You're just about to buy a house. So the earnest money eventually becomes a part of your down payment, okay? They factor that in because when you go in to sign your documents, you're going to bring the rest of your down payment, and the escrow officer tells you how much that is, okay? So earnest money becomes part of your down payment money, all right? So that's kind of the whole scenario and thought process on earnest money. It's a big deal and it's a big chunk of money, so we want to be efficient when we're going through the inspection period. So if you have any questions or comments about earnest money, put them in the comment section. I'd sure love to hear from you about that, or call me. That's what I do. I'm a realtor here with Keller Williams in Sonoma County, and I answer these questions all the time. If you want any buyer's guides or seller's guides, I have free stuff that I give away all day long, and they come up in PDFs or ebooks on your screen by hitting the links below. They're fantastic. And if you're a hero, a first responder, active or retired military, I participate in Homes for Heroes. You're really going to want to know about that because that's a big fat check like that one that comes back to you whether you buy or sell a house. So look into Homes for Heroes. This is Anita Anderson with Discover Sonoma County Living, where I go over the basics of buying and selling homes and discovering Sonoma County living. Look for the next video that'll help you a little bit more on purchasing a house in the upper right-hand corner, and I'll see you around the channel.